Are we filming? Yes we are. So welcome to another video. This is a podcast edition. Thank you for joining me. So today, I'm going to try and keep this to less than an hour. It might be even 30 minutes, I don't know, but we'll rattle through. And also, just a quick reminder, I am trying to make these podcasts ideally for people that are listening rather than viewing. All my other videos are specifically aimed at viewers, but the podcast is as far as I can. I mean, sometimes I make a mistake and I hold something up and then I suddenly realise that that's no good if you're listening in the car or whatever. So I'm trying to do that. Anyway, first thing, and I'm using my Guildford Mini Extra Slim, which I use for podcast notes. So, first thing, a channel member says all your podcasts have been an enjoyable listen. I ended up getting a YouTube premium account and listened to podcast number 16 in the car yesterday via the YouTube Music app. Now, this is important because over the last year, Google, that own YouTube, have been working on becoming a major player in the podcast arena. I started, and I wish that I'd kept it up, but it wasn't working. But I, with a friend of mine, about 12 years ago, I started the world's first consumer podcast, and then we only lasted 3 episodes and decided to pull the plug, as it were. In its infancy, it was very, very difficult to I mean, with limited funds, it was very, very difficult, and it wasn't very commercial as a job, and I initially thought it would be a job, and I was just coming up to retirement, and I thought this would be a what they call in the UK a nice little earner by creating a podcast, but it wasn't to be. But as we know now, podcasts are very, very big, and there are some major players that have jumped on the bandwagon, and of course Google are very, very keen on having a slice of the action. So you can create a podcast very easily on YouTube, which will then appear on YouTube Music, which is not only music but podcasts. And actually, let me just say something about I'm not trying to advertise YouTube Premium, because, well, you know, it is what it is. But I have in the past been listened to music provided by Amazon Prime and also Spotify. I am very, very impressed with, I'm a big user, especially doing things around the house, just putting my headphones on and listening to YouTube Music. And, you know, maybe there's some naivety here on my part, but I come from an era where you had a hi-fi, a music centre, you know, separate. So turntable, vinyl records, amplifiers, speakers, blowing your socks off, playing Dark Side of the Moon in an attic, in a medieval farmhouse, in a thunderstorm with all the windows open. And that takes some beating. But now I've got neighbours, as it were. I'm being a little bit more conservative, and I haven't used my sound system, as it were, for a few years now. It's still packed away, and probably a good thing too. But I love listening to as a YouTube Premium member. I originally signed up simply because I want to just watch YouTube videos ad-free. But I am increasingly starting to use YouTube Premium and YouTube Music. And one of the things I do is I listen to podcasts on another platform as well, but I'm aware that this podcast is on YouTube Music, so it's just a convenient thing, and I am trying to predominantly make this, as discussed a few moments ago, a listenable feature of the Flatability channel. So praise indeed for this from this member. So I'm delighted that people are using this, because I did. There is another thing. If you're in a bad signal area, you can you can download podcasts in low res format, so it doesn't use up too much of your bandwidth, going right down to, I think, 540. So although I'm filming this in 4K, you don't have to download it in 4K. If you're just listening to it, you might as well use the lowest amount of data possible, the slowest data stream, which I believe is 540. I have tried it once and it works, and it doesn't really affect the sound at all, because sound works perfectly fine at those low res data transfer rates. So just a tip, if you are constrained by data or you want to store more things on your phone. I'm not an expert at this, but I'm learning. So there we go. Next thing, Facebook. Just a quick reminder, I hardly put anything on Facebook. It's mainly on YouTube. Why do I have a Facebook channel, Facebook Flatability channel? It's simply because if for any reason I lose access to the Flatability channel on YouTube, it's an opportunity for me to chat to you and let you know what's going on with getting back onto YouTube. So it's just like an emergency channel. I might add a few things, maybe once a week, I don't know, but it's not something that really. I mean, one of the things I'm not a fan of on Facebook is let me digress slightly. When I was a full-time antiques dealer, I used Facebook a lot, and I had hundreds of followers. And it worked very, very well. But over the intervening years, as you would expect from a commercial company, Facebook have manipulated the system, so it becomes a little bit gritty and unreliable from a point of view of if I go onto my Facebook channel, there's an awful lot of stuff, a lot of adverts that YouTube are thrusting onto me and potential viewers, no doubt, to distract and entice viewers away from the content that I'm trying to create. So it's the same thing is happening to Instagram, which is also which is also owned by Facebook, or Meta, as they call themselves now. So it's a bit messy. It's a bit messy. I'm really, really pleased that YouTube is actually okay. You get, I mean, the YouTube. The YouTube methodology is to get people watching continuously. So there's always distractions on the side of the screen as you watch this, which is absolutely fine. But essentially, you can enjoy videos without having videos thrust upon you all the time, especially if you're a YouTube Premium member. So I'm going to keep so long as Facebook don't bar me for not producing any content, but I don't think that's possible, really. It's not likely. But I may decide to add a few more things to Facebook now and again, but it's not really a main channel. That YouTube itself is my main channel. So that's my explanation. Anyway, more about Guildford Mini Extra Slims. This is a Guildford Mini Extra Slim. And a viewer writes, I wish I could find a Guildford Mini Extra Slim in the US, but I can't. Even with the bad leather, lol. Yes, there are two flaws, as I see it, in my opinion, with this, even though it is, I personally believe, and I'm banging on about this, but I believe it's one of the greatest filofaxes ever made. They only made it for about a year and then withdrew it. The two flaws are in my opinion, the rings are a little bit on the fragile side if you keep on having to adjust them to close those ring gaps, which we all suffer from, many of us suffer from. And also the leather is pretty bad. And I just want to no, I'm not going to show you because this is a listening thing. I'll show you in a coffee break. A coffee break is my coffee breaks are not very often. I don't have a coffee break very often. I need to address that. But coffee breaks are effectively like a podcast for people that are watching rather than listening. So I will show you something in the next coffee break about my Guildford Mini Extra Slim. But this is like, I don't know whether anyone from the FLB group that owns the Filofax brand will ever listen to these podcasts. Maybe they will, you never know. But if anyone is listening or watching, it's a plea to Filofax. And I am basically suggesting two things. One is, this is a really, really good, the Guildford Mini Extra Slim, which is a very, very tiny, it's the smallest Filofax binder ever made. It has no pen loop, no retaining strap, and it is designed for mini pages. Although I use mine for pocket sized paper that just sticks up slightly above the top of the binder. In my current EDC, more about that in another video, perhaps. But the plea to Filofax, if you are listening, is please bring that Guildford Mini Extra Slim back into production or similar. Thank you very much. Thank you. But also, if there are any other manufacturers or entrepreneurs out there, you should make these, because I, in my humble opinion, I think that there is untapped demand for such a product. So essentially, you're looking at a product that is very, very similar to an A6 pocket moleskin, sort of closer to A7 than A6. But I'm not bombarded, but regularly I am asked online, where can I get hold of a Guildford Mini Extra Slim? Because I don't know whether I've been talking up the brands or not, because I am the proud owner of two of these, but it took some doing to get these. I had to wait ages, and when they were on there as auctions, I had to be prepared to spend a lot of money to get them. There was fierce competition, and I really wanted them. So I think I lost one and I gained two. So I've only seen 3 of them in the last 2.5 years. So they're as rare as hen's teeth, as I'm inclined to say quite often. But it is just a plea to Filofax and a suggestion to other manufacturers that they get on and produce one, because I think they do very, very well. Plotter makes something very, very similar in their Plotter Mini 5, but that's very, very difficult to get hold of. It's made in Japan. They have a satellite distribution network in the USA. So they are available in certain regions of the world, but very, very hard to find here. I'm in the market for one, but I've yet to find one that is at reasonable cost. I've only seen a couple on eBay over the last year or so, but I'm looking. I have email alerts set up so that I can be advised and alerted to such a binder being available. But it's been very, very difficult. But I'm looking forwards to getting hold of one. I've even emailed Plotter. Sadly, they didn't get back to me. That's not their fault. I imagine they're probably inundated with people saying, I'm from the UK or I'm from Europe. Where can I get hold of one of these Plotter Mini 5s? They do a Mini 6 as well, which is equivalent to like a pocket-sized filofax. But it's just a nice, clean, simple design with the very, very best leather available. And they sell at a premium price. And when I say premium, I mean premium with a capital P, well over £100 for a very, very basic binder with no pockets, just one strip of leather and, crucially, Krauss rings. So it becomes a reliable prospect, hopefully providing reassurance to people of splashing the cash, as we say in the UK, for such an item. So there we go. I hope that Filofax do bring one out. If they do, I will buy one to test to see whether the new one is as good as the old one. Hopefully it'll be better, because they will have some experience of, I wouldn't say it's a debacle, but they must be aware that the Guildford series, which was available in mini, pocket and personal size, don't think it was available in A5, but certainly I haven't got a pocket one, but I have personal size and mini size, and the leather is fantastic on the outside, but pretty bad on the inside, just falling off in clumps. So hopefully Filofax will have learnt from that, and if they produce one in the future, then they will produce one with leather that stands the test of time inside, or just don't have leather inside at all. I mean, I have used a toothbrush to scrape away the interior leather of one of my Guildford Mini Extra Slim binders, and there's a really, really nice man-made fabric underneath. It looks fine. So I would go for that. You know, don't even waste time trying to put the thinnest leather you can to bonded to the man-made substrate. Just have the man-made substrate as the working surface. That would look good. I think that would look good. I'm not going to demonstrate. Well, actually, if you are watching, I'm just going to hold up. So basically, I'm holding up my Guildford Mini Extra Slim, where this leather was so bad, I just got a toothbrush and a paintbrush, dipped it in water, and it just came off, like it just almost floated off without even having to exert much pressure. And I'm fine with that, because if you don't do that and you are using your Guildford Mini Extra Slim, or indeed the Mini Executive, which also has exactly the same leather problem, if you are resigned to the fact that, well, I'm actually going to show you this if you are a viewer. So I'm showing to the screen my Guildford Mini Executive, and I have some folded A4 paper that's in one of the pockets, and you can see that let me take this out and just show you. So I'm basically holding up the paper that is in the pocket of my Guildford Mini Executive, and you can see that the microscopic particles of leather that are constantly falling off are now stuck to the A4 paper, which is not a good look. It doesn't bother me, because these are very much working tools. I just accept it. But if you look at that, I know I'm breaking my rule by holding this up to the camera during a podcast that people are listening, but I am holding up my Guildford Mini Executive, which is almost identical to the Guildford Mini Extra Slim, and you can see that the leather is atrocious. It's just falling off. So in many respects, I'm hoping that if Filofax ever get round to introducing a binder that is similar, that they address the leather problem by either improving the leather, and they've had over 100 years experience in this, presumably, that would indicate that they have the ability to select a leather that doesn't have this problem. And if they can't manage that, then just have the man-made substrate to avoid people buying it and then becoming a little bit disillusioned about the flaky leather, as it were. Okay, so I've closed my book, so I need to open it again. How are we doing? 21 minutes. Okay, so just talking about the Guildford Mini Extra Slim again. A subscriber says, I wish I could find a Guildford Mini Extra Slim. But they go on to say, I did make my own disc-bound pocket planner and I love it. Thanks to your inspiration. Now, as many of you know, that I am experimenting and enjoying having a planner that is based on basically pocket-sized Atoma disc-bound planner, although right now it has ARC discs in it, which work absolutely fine. Anyway, I'm happy that I've provided some inspiration to this subscriber. So thanks very much for the feedback. A viewer says, I regularly cut pen loops out of my many leather notebook and Techo covers. I don't know what Techo cover means. It might have meant techno covers. I don't really know what that means, but if you want to let me know, then I'll be happy to mention it. He says they are sometimes always in the way, the pen loops. I have on many binders, particularly the ones I use when I'm carrying them in my pocket, I have cut the pen loops off, partly because the pens I use are too big for the pen loop, but also because many of them have a fold-over design, so there's a hem inside, rather than a full thickness piece of leather where there is no hem inside that will snag a flat-nosed pen. Many of them have this fold-over hem thing, which will snag a pen. And many of them are inbounds rather than outbounds. It means that when you open it, the pen loop is facing inwards towards the pages and the tabs getting in the way. It's much better to have them in an outbound construction, where I can understand why Filofax are big fans of the inbound construction, because it's cheaper, because they can fold it into the hem and stitch everything together, whereas outbound construction requires additional work. So I can understand that from a manufacturing point of view, but I actually wish that more of these binders were like the Guildford Mini Extra Slim, particularly the small ones, and not have a pen loop at all. That would suit me. But it's interesting that I'm clearly not the only person that is cutting off pen loops as superfluous. I'm hoping to test later on this year a heritage binder. The Filofax heritage model has, instead of a pen loop, it has, I'm not sure, but I think it has a pen loop on the dashboard, but I can't be certain. But certainly with like Plotters, the Japanese plotter company, they don't have pen loops attached to the leather. They have a very minimalist style, and they have a pen loop attached to an insert, like a plasticized cardboard insert, which I personally think is a much better way of doing things, to actually have it mounted on the insert. So that way the owner of the binder can either choose to use that insert or remove it. I mean, we shouldn't really have to cut with a razor blade or a sharp knife the pen loops off. But that's my thoughts. So again, if anyone from the FLB group are listening, then why not make some binders with no pen loop and just have it as a dashboard and the pen loop in the dashboard? I think that would be more versatile, more useful, in my opinion, and also it'd be cheaper in terms of the manufacturing process to do that. I think it'd be cheaper. Okay, next topic. Okay, so I don't know whether they are listening to me, but I can't help noticing I have been banging on for the last few weeks about the Saffiano compact zip, and I'm not going to get it out, but viewers will see I'm pointing to a boxed Saffiano compact zip that I bought for the purposes of evaluation 2 or 3 weeks ago, because I was very, very interested in discovering the construction of the removable rings in the Saffiano. They also do it in the Malden compact zip, but that's arguably a lot more expensive. So I just decided to review the Saffiano rather than the Malden compact zip, because I am going to be selling the Saffiano compact zip on eBay shortly. If you are a channel member, then you'll be watching this podcast before the auction starts, and if you are a regular member, if you are just one of the wider viewing public, then when you see this, the video will be the auction will be over. But you can click on the link. Either way, you can click on the link that I have in the description to my eBay channel, and you can look to see either how much is it going for, or indeed how much it sold for, at least if you look at that within about 90 days of the sale. So thank you very much if you do that. And I am minded, most of my filofaxes are sold as a Dutch auction, where I start at a ridiculously high price and then change it, drop it by 5% every weekend typically, and all the way down to £1 if necessary. It's unlikely that it will, but I have, when I've done this in the past, I have many watchers, all sort of I mean, it's an interesting thing to witness as the seller, because if I have 30 watchers, I think the last one I did was 33 watchers, and putting myself in the shoes of the potential buyer, you'd be looking at it and thinking, well, shall I wait till next weekend before Neil drops the price by another 5%, or shall I bite the bullet and buy it now, because I'm not sure exactly when it will be dropped. It could be any time over the weekend, so I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to go for it. So it's an interesting conundrum. It's a bit of fun, and I commit myself to dropping the price continually until it sells. But this particular Saffiano, I'm just going to list I'm recording this on Saturday the 10th of February. And so I'm going to list it tomorrow, which will be Sunday evening, the 11th of February. And then I'm going to be listing it as a penny, as a normal eBay auction. And, and then you as buyers will decide what it's worth to you. But I only bought it purely for testing. And that's one of the things I'm going to do this year. I'm going to test. Some people have said in the past, why don't you test modern binders? Now, I'm more of a fan of vintage binders, as most of you will know. And I can't buy every single current model because that would cost me a lot. But what I am doing is, even though I make it's likely that I'm going to make a bit of a loss because I'm not being supplied by Filofax. They're not giving me filofaxes to test as freebies because I've made it absolutely clear that this channel remains sponsor free, so that if I say that this is a bad binder, then I can do that without fear of the nagging feeling that I'm being supplied as a freebie and having some sort of obligation to say that's really nice. So I am going to list that tomorrow for a penny start. Okay. Interestingly, I discovered something that. Okay, so let me talk about the Filofax thing. So, and I've written, as I write this, the Filofax website is highlighting the Saffiano compact zip. Now, I don't know whether that's as a result of me banging on about it, but the fact remains, not only have they got a little video of the Saffiano compact zip on their website, so as soon as you go into the website, they say, here, look at this Saffiano compact zip. But in that video, they actually make a point of saying that the removable rings means that you can use it as a wallet, and that is exactly what I've been banging on about. Is how useful is that? Because not only is it gives people options, but it also means that if people are really keen on flatability, which is not essential, not everybody goes a bundle on flatability, but as you know, I do. I could remove, and I'm holding up my Frankenfax, which is a similar removable setup with Krauss rings on a backing board. That this has been removed from a Mulberry wallet. Very high quality Krauss rings, beautiful. Although these 11mm rings are a little bit restrictive. But right now I am using the Frankenfax as a 7. I'm using it as my 7-day planner. I will produce a step-by-step guide to the 7-day planning setup, because several people have asked me to explain it more fully. So I'm going to be doing that soon. But it is interesting that Filofax are promoting the benefits of removable rings, and also I didn't realise that, but this Saffiano has RFID technology, which is what many wallets have, to prevent people from scanning cards. Certainly, this is certainly very common in the UK, where people have a card reader that they hold against people's pockets in a crowded tube train in London, that sort of thing. So it's like tap and go, or in this case, tap and steal your money. So RFID technology is something that's becoming more and more common, and it's actually built into the Saffiano compact zip. I didn't know that. Very, very impressed. Well done, Filofax, for thinking about that. Okay. Okay, so next one. Another one of my channel members writes, in some circles, I am known as the fountain pen Sith Lord. I feel it is appropriate to leave it here. Now, I have some good chats with this particular channel member because they are an expert about fountain pens, and I am only just starting to get into it. And to be honest, I'm not planning to go mad on fountain pens, but I do find myself increasingly enjoying different fountain pens. Many of them are quite. I'm just going to blow my nose. Excuse me. Many of them are very, very cheap. I'm holding up a traditional piston fountain pen that costs me effectively around about £1, so they can be very, very cheap. And I'm now holding up a pen that I have just done a mail time on, which is at the other end of the spectrum. Do you know what? This particular pen, which comes from Tom's Studio here in the UK. As you know, if you've just watched my unboxing video, I'm recording this on a Saturday lunchtime here in the UK, and I'm surrounded by ink, and I am desperately tempted to ink this up and test it, but I want to share that moment with you. So it's the hardest thing to do, to resist the temptation to use this pen and test it. But I am looking forward to it. It is something that it is very, very much an object of desire. I mean, you can spend thousands on a custom fountain pen, as I'm finding out. This isn't in that league, but this definitely costs considerably more than the writing tools that I have used in the past. But hitherto, buying this one, the most expensive fountain pen I've ever used, is I have a collection of, certainly from an EDC point of view, an everyday carry, I'm inclined to carry a Kaweco Sport, which is a relatively cheap plastic pen with a really good German nib, fantastic. But this is an unusual thing, and I can't really say any more other than the fact that it is. I'm just so excited to test this. So I'm just going to put that down because it's too distracting. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so a few viewers are curious about my new channel. Now, if you look at my homepage, many of you will know, and you have asked, because I've occasionally mentioned the fact I have a lot of other YouTube channels I'm working on. Some are just fun. You'll notice there's one at the bottom of my homepage in a section called Featured Channels, and it is one that I have for my grandchildren, and I just very occasionally, I haven't put one on for some time actually, but it is just for them. But if you enjoy my sort of ad hoc videos on my Coffee with Neil channel, then I'll be delighted for you to know that you're watching. Fantastic. But I've got I promised people that I would inform them if I was comfortable about developing another channel and sharing it. Some of them I'm not, because the standard of my filmmaking is, there's nothing. It's not that there's anything dodgy or rude about my channels, but some of them only have one video, and I've kind of abandoned them. And I've got one that involves filming doing street photography, but it's not really not ideal for YouTube. So I've got this channel. I'm not going to give you the name of it, but I just did a sneak preview in the community page of just to give you a frisson of curiosity. And it's going to go live within the next month. But I did promise that I would keep people informed. So even though it's totally unrelated to paper-based productivity, at least I'm keeping you informed. And then when it does go live, then I will add it to my featured channel section at the bottom of the homepage. So, okay. A viewer writes, and this is an ink-related thing because you'll notice that I've acquired several inks through the mail recently. And they say I haven't used Quink, so it's an ink made by Parker here in the UK. I haven't used Quink for over 50 years. I didn't even realise it was still around. Snap. That is exactly what happened to me as well. I had no idea, and I bought some. I bought some blue ink, just for nostalgic purposes, because it was the ink of choice when I was at school, sort of 45 to 50 years ago. And I've been testing it in one of my pens. I recently bought a whole selection of cheap, and when I mean cheap, I mean they're about £1 each. And I'm enjoying this Quink ink. Brings back memories, and it's although I mainly write in black, I chose blue because it was it's actually a nice colour, and it's actually if you look at the community page, there's one where there's an image of the number 50, and that is in the blue Quink ink. So that's the colour. I like it. So it's a bit of a nostalgia. I mean, I've probably got about 20 inks now, so it's getting a bit. I'm getting into it, and I don't really want to get into it too much. So I'm gonna put a break on that for a little while. In fact, I actually received some yet more inks today through the mail. So that will probably be another mail time, probably tomorrow, perhaps. So if you're a channel member, you're going to see that very, very shortly. And if you're just part of the wider viewing public, you'll see it very, very soon. Okay. How are we doing? 43 minutes. So we're getting there. Another channel member says, here's a plea to Filofax. And this is what they would like Filofax to produce if they had their way. 5-ring mini binder, 2 models, one 11mm rings and one 13mm rings. Now bear in mind the mini size binders that Filofax produce now are 15mm. I have several that are 11mm. The Guildford Mini Extra Slim has the 11mm rings, as does the in fact all I mean, I've got a mini Kensington, I've got a mini Executive, 2 Guildford Mini Extra Slims, and a mini Portland, although the ring, I'm using that as a D-ringed model because the rings fell apart. But that was 11mm rings, and my Frankenfax has got 11mm rings. Plotter, when they make their Guildford Mini 5, that has 11mm rings. Personally, though, I think for me, I mean, everybody's different, but for me, I I feel that 15mm is too big. 13mm is the sweet spot. I'd be happy with 13. If I could specify one, I'd love to see, for instance, Filofax introducing a Guildford Mini Extra Slim with 13mm rings rather than 11mm rings. Ideally, Krauss rings, because they're more reliable, ostensibly. Although, they don't have to be, so long as you treat them with respect and care. The ones that are fitted to Filofax binders, that at least the modern ones, are okay. They're okay. Just got to be very, very careful of putting excess pressure on the rings. But I don't want to bang on about Krauss too much. But ideally, Krauss rings. And this gentleman says what he'd like to see is black, brown, tan. And this is the crucial thing, to make the rings replaceable. Now, rings can be replaced, but if they are riveted on, that makes it easier to replace if the rivet goes all the way through to the back of the binder. I'm not going to hold one up because this is a podcast, but those cheaper binders like the Domino, where the rivet goes all the way back, and when you look at the outside of the cover, you can see the rivet. You can drill those rivets out and replace the rings very, very easily. Ones that have a captive rivet, i.e. it's sewn into the material and it's not designed to be replaceable, and it's riveted, well, that makes it really, really difficult, if not impossible. And so for those, and I concur with this subscriber, concur with this channel member, actually. If you have the traditional mechanism, if Filofax went back to the traditional mechanism where there was a hidden mechanism, a locking mechanism, so you could actually lever off the cover to the ring mechanism itself, split the rings apart, and I'm not going to... I haven't actually done a video where I'm doing that, but there are videos available to demonstrate that. I might do a video at some point, but I haven't got round to it yet. But certainly, if Filofax reverted to I suspect that they've changed because those rings are more expensive. But if they were feeling generous, if they wanted their Filofaxes to last many, many years, then a reversion to the more traditional attachments to the binder, so that you could actually replace the rings without cutting into the lining, that would actually be good. So I concur with this channel member very, very much. And I'm again, I'm constantly asked about Guildford Mini Extra Slim. So Filofax, you know what to do. Just get on and make Guildford Mini Extra Slims again. Okay, bit of praise here. Thank you very much. So this subscriber has said, just subscribed, rang the bell and liked. I mean, fantastic. It's nice to receive a message like that. But for the wider interest, for those of you interested in that sort of thing, yesterday I had a look at the stats on the channel, and I can reveal that 50% of you subscribe to the channel. 50% of viewers subscribe, which is quite a large number. I have been told that a 10% subscriber rate is pretty good going, and here I am with my channel. I've still got an itchy nose. 50% is pretty good going, and 11% of you ring the bell. To be honest, as a subscriber of many channels myself, I don't ring the bell myself. I don't click the bell icon because I prefer personally to just look at them. I don't want my phone pinging me to say there's a new video on a channel. That's my personal opinion. But that facility is there for those that like this sort of thing, and 11% of you have rung the bell, as it were. And from a point of view of subscribing, I really want to say this because I really appreciate that. Not necessarily because it's good for my channel, and it clearly is. Having subscribers clearly allows the YouTube algorithm, such as it is, to say to itself, well, this must be an interesting channel. Let's offer this. Let's offer people more of this, whatever this is. But crucially, as we all know, we are in the minority here from a point of view of paper-based productivity. Not everybody is into this. And the more people that are, from a subscriber point of view, the more viewers this channel and similar channels receive, and the more interest there is in paper-based productivity, filofaxes, notebooks, disc-bound binders, everything. Companies are less likely to discontinue products and more likely to introduce more. So it gives us as consumers more options. So it's got to be a good thing. So thank you for subscribing, liking, and ringing the bell. Okay. This is an interesting comment. The test tube cum pen holder is very clever. Thank you very much. Paper test very, very soon. So I'm not going to show it up because I did that in my last podcast, but I have a series of pens, all the same, in a test tube rack. I think there's about 20 pens, all the same, so that each one has got a different ink. So when I test, and I have started to test, for instance, there's the classic one, which has been done to death. I do appreciate that, but I'm going to do it as well. So people will, for instance, do a pen test between Moleskine notebooks and Rhodia notebooks to see to gauge the paper quality, and I'm going to be doing that over many types of paper and notebook over the coming weeks and months, and I just want some consistency, because if you used a different pen, then it's very, very difficult to get an unbiased result. So I just thought the test tube rack would be a good idea, and this isn't the only comment I've had about test tube racks, but thank you very much. Okay, another channel member writes, there's a growing number of channel members here. I bought my first Moleskine about the same time as my first filofax, around the year 2002. And it's only used for the most important notes. I'm a big fan of Moleskines. I like the feel of them. There are some limitations in terms of fountain pen ink, but with the exception of that, I find them a joy to use, and I use 3 different types at the moment, mainly. One is Moleskines. Another is Rhodia notebooks, and also Reticey. Reticey are they're like the cheaper alternative to Moleskines, and I'm currently using a Reticey for my journal. And then When I've filled that book, I will choose another. It might be a Rhodia, might be a Moleskine, it might be an Amazon, what they call an Amazon Basics, which is basically exactly the same thing, but with Amazon's own brand. I've got a lot of them. But the Moleskine thing, I concur with this channel member. I like them. Some people don't. Some people say they're very expensive what they are. But this gentleman, this channel member, says something very, very interesting, and that is, he's had this Moleskine since 2002, and he's only a fifth of the way through the book. He only uses it for the most important notes. So if you have a notebook where you are using it very, very sparingly like that, then the price that you're paying is very, very small per year. So let's say this gentleman bought this book. I mean, they're currently about £20 or thereabouts. You can get them cheaper, but let's say £20. If you're only a fifth of the way through after 20 years, then the cost per year is insignificant. So, but you get that pleasure of carrying with you. The gentleman goes on to say that he doesn't carry it every day, but he takes it with him on holiday to write the most important notes in it. And I can relate to that. I can relate to purchasing a notebook for that is relatively expensive, but gives you a feel good factor. So yeah, Leuchtturm. I've got a Leuchtturm somewhere where I'm going to be testing it. Also, I've got a notebook, an A6 notebook, or roughly A6 notebook from 1864, and I mean, I know it sounds a little sacrilegious, but I am going to be doing pen tests in this 1864 notebook. So that'd be interesting. And I hope that the lady who started it as a diary and only wrote in it for a few days and then stopped, I will never ever know. I'm pretty sure that lady came from Pontefract in Yorkshire in the UK. Looking at her details on the internet, I hope she's not looking down on me now and thinking, I don't approve of you writing in my notebook. And I'm going to write in the back, but it is going to be an interesting. I don't know yet whether an 1864 notebook, and it looks expensive, doesn't have a maker's name. I don't know yet whether that notebook will take a fountain pen ink very, very well, but I'm going to find out and I'm going to share it with you, so you don't have to. But yes, so Moleskines, with some reservations, I do like them. Okay, so we now come to, and I've been doing this for a couple of episodes now, I've come to the business section, which plugs and talks about the commercial side of the channel, which I know that not everybody is interested in, and so I've left it to the very, very end, because I'm just going to blow my nose again. Sorry about that. I've just left it to the end of each podcast because I know that some people are not interested in the commercial side of it. For those that aren't, I just want to say thank you very much. We're just coming up to an hour, so that's more or less spot on. Thank you very much for watching this podcast, and goodbye. So, if you're still here, I have a few things to mention. You will notice, and this is by request of a channel member, not a channel member, a subscriber, who said that who pointed out that, I mean, I'm in the UK and I buy things on Amazon. I link to other companies as well, but I have these affiliate links, as you know, and some of those are for products on Amazon that are sold by Amazon, and some of them are product links, Amazon links to companies that use Amazon as a platform. So I am supporting those companies as well. And I'm an Amazon seller. I'm a bookseller on Amazon. I've sold hundreds of books over the year. I would not have the ability to open a bookshop on the high street. So Amazon, I know that it's people view Amazon as a bit of a threat to the high street, as in bricks and mortar stores. But the thing that we all must remember is that, and I'm not preaching here, I'm just saying what my opinion is. We have to remember that Amazon as a platform for other companies is really, really helpful in the same way as eBay is. You don't have to be an individual seller operating from your back bedroom. You can be a big seller, but using Amazon or eBay as the platform. So just getting back to this issue, the lady said that she wanted to click the links and buy products that I recommend, that I'm actually using. And she couldn't because they were only UK links. So what I did was I went through. I've now been approved as an Amazon associate on the .com site as well. You have to go through a separate assessment of procedure, as I understand it. And so I've got UK Amazon links, and I've got .com, so US Amazon links, which are effectively international. But you will notice, if you look at any of my descriptions to videos, you will notice that I have UK links to everything that I'm using, but only some .com links, because I can't find them, particularly with paper size. You can't find A4 paper on the .com site. Well, you can, but not specifically the one site. So I've had a look. If I can't find that product on the .com site, I don't look for an alternative, because I'm essentially, the crucial thing is I'm only linking to products I'm actually using, nothing else, actually using. So you can have a look and try yourself. And although it's a very limited thing, I am clearly making some money out of, if you use my affiliate links, I'm making some money. And as you've probably noticed, I am buying more stuff. Why am I buying more stuff? Because I'm receiving an income from affiliate links. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's enabling me to buy stuff that I wouldn't have previously been able to buy. And so there's benefit all round. This benefits me as a receiver of affiliate income. It benefits the user, the buyer, because it's easy for the buyer to know what I'm using and maybe try that product as well. And it's good for the seller who may be an independent seller using the Amazon platform or the eBay platform. So thank you for using my affiliate links, if that is what you're doing. There's at least a couple of you that appear to be clicking on one of the links and then going off to buying something else, because even if you buy, once you're on Amazon, I'll receive income from anything you buy, even if it's like a washing machine or a bicycle. I get the commission from that as well. So that's very gratifying. So thank you very much. The eBay, as I mentioned before, the eBay Saffiano, which is just up here, I'm pointing to it here. I'm going to be selling that. I'm going to be listing that tomorrow. Sunday the 11th of February on Amazon for a penny start. Channel members, you'll basically be looking at this, seeing this video before the auction starts. The rest of you will probably see this video after the auction is finished. But if you're interested if you are one of those people, if you are one of the wider public, the viewing public, then just click on my eBay channel link in the description, and you'll be able to see how much it's eventually sold for by clicking sold items. And it's that data is available for 90 days. So we're talking about February, March, April, May, so you'll be able to see how much it sold for up until the 11th of May, 2024. Okay, we've got one more thing. Okay, so the one final thing is just to clarify. Last year, channel members were basically 1 or 2 or 3 videos ahead of everybody else. As I record this, channel members are 11 videos ahead, and I'm building that up slowly. Why am I creating this buffer? It's because if I have a medical emergency or I have my winter cough, I mean, I'm just going to cough because I'm talking about cough. I don't know whether it's a mental thing, but bear in mind, bear with me. For some reason, every time I talk about my cough, I mean, I've got no cough at the moment, but maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, I get a cough. I've got a lung disease that causes me to go through coughing fits that can last many, many weeks. So to that end, I am trying to build a buffer of videos so that if I am indisposed and cannot produce videos, then I can carry on publishing videos, releasing videos out of my banked stash of videos, just by literally clicking the button. Even if I'm coughing like a good one, I can click with one finger on my mouse, and there we go, a fresh video. And from a point of view of channel members, they get to see all my videos straight away. So I'm building it up. It's currently channel members are 11 videos ahead of the rest of you. I'm aiming to build it up over the course of several months until the buffer is about 50 videos. But I'm just clarifying my intent. But it's just to achieve continuity. There was a week many weeks ago where I released 7 videos in a single weekend, and maybe that was too much. So I'm trying to be sort of fairly regular. There's no guarantee schedule wise, but I am minded, now I've built up a buffer, what I'm minded to do, and it may change, but certainly my minded to have a video for everyone on Saturdays, and a video on Sundays, and a midweek video on Wednesdays. Why Wednesday? Well, it's halfway through the week. It's a bit of fun. There's no specific arrangement, so it won't be coffee breaks on Wednesdays and podcasts on a Sunday or something. It's as they come, and I'm just trying to, as I'm branching out into, I mean, it must be topping 250 ideas for videos now, which obviously it's going to take many, many, many months. I am personally, in my mind, about a year's, I mean, I've done 200, this is the 238th video, I think. And I've got 200, and I've done that over 2.5 years. I've got notes for the next 250 videos. So it is not diminishing. I'm constantly thinking about new videos that I'd love to share my ideas with you. So I'm very enthusiastic about that. But anyway, I've been banging on for the last 10 minutes in what is supposed to be the business section. But thank you very much if you are still with me. And until my next video, goodbye.